Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back. Today I'm bringing you another speech video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Emily Perry. I'm a licensed and certified speech-language pathologist and mother of two. Today I thought that I would do a short and simple fun video for you guys that just talks about 5 things you can do at home with your kids or somebody else's kids if you're a caregiver for them that can help increase that receptive and expressive language, communication, talking, all those things. So these are 5 things that I did with my kids and still continue to do that I saw pay off greatly in their language and speech growth. So the first thing that I did with both of my babies, and I probably started anywhere between like 7 to 8 months of age, is I did baby signs. And so I only focused on 5 or 6 that I thought were really important for my children to know at the time. So we did like more and please and all done and just simple baby signs. But honestly, this paid off a big time. I'm telling you, for a long time, I felt like we were getting nowhere with it. And I felt like I was just drilling it on them all the time. And then my daughter, when she was about 10 or 11 months old, really before she was talking much, I mean, she was a talker pretty early, but even before words began coming out, she was signing like crazy. I knew if she was done. I knew if she wanted more. I knew if she needed help. All those things is because we were drilling those baby signs, and it gave her a means to communicate effectively with me. And you don't even have to learn formal sign language yourself. So you don't have to learn ASL or anything like that. Just learn basic baby signs and work on those with your kids, because the goal is that you're just learning to communicate effectively back and forth with one another, okay? You're not translating for a speaker at a giant event. You're not performing for someone. You are working with your child or the child that you are caring for to learn how to communicate effectively back and forth with one another. So highly encourage doing baby signs. I have a YouTube video on baby signs that I made a long time ago, but I will link it down here in the description. So if you're interested in learning some of the basic baby signs, you can go watch that. I also talk in that video about how I go about teaching them to my child. And this also paid off hugely for me, because when my son was born, my daughter actually was doing baby signs to him. So he learned them mostly from watching her, because she was drilling him. If she was feeding him Cheerios, she would take his hands and make him do more before she'd give him more Cheerios. And honestly, I loved it, because she was helping him learn communication, and he started picking up on baby signs very early as well. Okay, the second thing that is gonna sound so obvious, but I know as parents we get burnt out and tired and we don't always feel like doing this, but read books to your kids. Honestly, you guys, this is so incredibly important. They take in so much language development information when you are reading them a story. You are forming that bond with your child or the child you're caring for. So they're learning from you. They're learning to trust you. They're learning to listen to what you're saying. They're looking at the page. They're learning objects, nouns, verbs, colors, sequence of events. They're learning all sorts of language development skills that they need in order to be able to effectively express themselves with speech and other means of communication. So reading your children books is so important. I can't overstress that enough. I get to the end of every day and my children really like to read books, and sometimes we'll be on our 4th and I'm like, no, it's time for bed. And sometimes I have to call it, and then sometimes I really push myself to just do one more, because I see it pay off so much in their lives. Because also what happens is then when I need a minute to myself, I have them go pick out a book and sit on the couch and read it quietly. And they actually have learned the stories, and they're working on story retell as they read the book themselves. So it pays off when they get older, because as a toddler now, both of my kids can sit and follow a story that they've heard me or their father read them multiple times, and they can actually recite it to themselves in their head as they're looking at the pictures. They're not reading the words, obviously, but they've learned to memorize the story, and they're doing story recall on themselves. So that's a huge important skill. But from the start, from babies, read them books. Talk about what you see in the books. Talk about the colors, the actions, the verbs. So important. Such a useful tool that we all have in our home if we have children, and you cannot do this enough. I'm telling you, this is vital. If you feel your child is struggling with verbal communication or speech and you're not reading them books, I would say just start there. Read books constantly. Okay, the third thing, and this is probably one thing that I say a lot to parents when they are coming in for speech therapy, is I usually ask, how does your child request for something at home? If they want a snack, how do they tell you? If they want a drink, how do they tell you? And oftentimes it's, well, they just go get it. And so that's when I always say, put it in sight but out of reach. So everything should be in sight but out of reach. If you're really working on increasing that verbal communication, in sight and out of reach. What does this mean? So in my pantry right now, I have a snack basket. It has snacks that my kids can get to. Currently, it's where they can reach it because they're able to come and tell me that they would like a snack. Often they go get a snack before they've even asked, and so that's a whole nother problem, but they are able to ask me for a snack. But when they were younger, I put it up high. They knew their snacks were located in that basket, and they knew if that's what they wanted, they needed to find a way to let me know so that I could get that snack basket down. So everything just needs to be in sight, but out of reach. Take their favorite toy, put it on top of the fridge where it's very visible, where they can easily spot it, but then they have to come up with some means of letting you know it's what they want you to get for them. And so it could be a pointing, it could be the baby sign of please, it could be speaking it could be touching a picture. Maybe you put a picture on your fridge of these items that you've put out of reach, and they have to go touch that picture to let you know that's what they're looking for. We're looking for here is increasing their means of communication. So instead of just going and getting it or grunting, we don't want like, we want to encourage them to find an alternative, effective means of communication for getting that, because you might know at home what that grunt means, but when they're with another person and they're wanting something that's vital to their life, like water or snack, is a grunt going to be effective communication? That person might not know what they need. We want them to be able to effectively communicate in all environments, and we want to set them up for success and the means to do so. So just put things in sight but out of reach and give them multiple opportunities, multiple ways to try to communicate to you what they need. Okay, the fourth thing, which again is just going to sound obvious, but it's important to be reminded of this, is that we really should be talking about everything with our toddlers. If we go for a walk, let's talk about, what do we see on the ground? We see grass. What do we see in the sky? We see the clouds. We see the sun. Maybe we see the moon coming up. Oh, look, there's a bird. Oh, look, there's a butterfly. What does that butterfly have? It has wings. What color are the wings? I mean, just anything we can visually take in, and it's going to sound like bombarding to us because our brains are a little more tired and a little more wiped. But a toddler's brain, I'm telling you, they take that information in and they just feed off of it. So the more we can talk about with our kids, the more language development they're getting. They're learning, again, the nouns, the verbs, the basic language learning concepts that they need in order to be able to put together a sentence. And it's a semantic and pragmatic structure that's going to set them up for success. So just talking about everything, it does so much. I mean, I'm telling you guys, these things I'm telling you, you don't need materials for. I mean, you don't need a speech therapist to put a binder together for you to take home. You don't need to go to Teachers Pay Teachers and get all these resources. These are things that you can be doing every single day with your kids that pay off tremendously for their speech and language development and growth. Okay, the fifth and final thing is that we always want to validate and praise any communication attempt. So again, let's go back to the insight out of reach. Say I've put a toy on top of the fridge and my child grunted, and so I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what you're looking for. And then say they attempted to say it. So let's say I put a ball on top of the fridge, and at first my son grunted, and I say, I'm not sure what it is you're looking for. And then they come and they're like pulling my hand and they pull me to the fridge, and then they're pointing maybe, or they're doing some sort of means of trying to tell me what they want. And then I say, oh, I think maybe you want the ball, but I'm not sure. Let's see if we can just practice together saying for ball. And if I see my son attempt the then I go, oh, yes, a ball. That's what you wanted. I heard you. Thank you for telling me. And then I get the ball for him. So I'm letting him know that his attempt at communicating was heard, was understood, and that I am encouraging that, because that is a very appropriate and effective way of getting your wants and needs met. So any sort of thing. Say they go straight to the picture cards that you have, bring them the picture. Do not ignore that. Even if it's something they can't have right now, this is important. I'm glad I thought to say this. Even if you don't want them to have a snack right now because they just had a snack 5 minutes ago, tell me my kids are not the only ones like that. Then you can say, oh, you want a snack. I understand that you want a snack, but it's not time yet. We just had a snack 5 minutes ago. So let's go set a timer on our fridge, or not our fridge, on our microwave. I do that a lot in my house. I'll set a timer on my microwave. Let's set it for 20 minutes. Okay, when this timer goes off, then we'll know we can go get our snack. So we're still validating that this child communicated effectively to us, even if we can't grant the wants and needs in that moment. And that's really important because you don't want to discourage communication. You don't want to ignore a communication attempt and then them feel discouraged and not attempt communication anymore. You want to praise that and you want to validate it and then respond appropriately. If they can have it, give it to them, let them know you heard them and understand them. If not, give them an alternative. Like maybe instead we could go do this. Maybe we can do this. Let's set a timer, but always let them know that you heard and understood their wants and needs. So let's just recap. So first thing is baby signs, read books, put things in sight but out of reach, talk about everything, talk until you just literally have no air left in you. And then let's always praise communication attempts, okay? And help build on better communication attempts. If it was not the most successful, you can still praise it and then say, maybe we could try it this way. So hope these tips were helpful for you guys. My kids talk my ears off, y'all. And I really do think that these 5 things that I've always done with them is probably one of the biggest contributing factors to that. So kids are all different. You cannot compare. Norms are norms, but they do not encompass everybody. And a lot of kids will be out of the circle by above it or below it or whatever. So your child is your child and you know them best, but I'm telling you, these 5 things are great resources. If you have any further questions or concerns, reach out to a speech therapist near you. I get a lot of people on here asking me if I can give therapy or treat anybody through teletherapy, but I do not currently practice therapy. I stay home with my 2 littles. They are my clients for now in this season of life. But I would hesitate anyways because I honestly think in-person therapy is just so vital. So that's just my biased opinion. But if you can find a speech therapist near you who's doing in-person therapy, I would highly encourage you do that to seek out help. My videos cannot diagnose or treat, they're just here to help you. And I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Comment below and let me know if there's something specific you would like to see a video on, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye. I'm gonna put in a disclaimer because I said the word drilling for baby signs, and I know that is easy for me as a speech therapist to know what I mean when I say that. But obviously, we're not sending your baby to boot camp, okay? We shouldn't be harassing them with baby signs to the point that they're overwhelmed and they're breaking down. So let me just clarify. When I say drill, I mean that it needs to be consistent. So when my child is wanting more of a snack, I'm going to say, you want more? And then see if they do it. If they don't, I can say again, did you want more? Pause, give them a moment to process, see if they do it. If they don't, then people have mixed opinions about this. It worked really well for my kids, but I would take my daughter's hands and just say, more, Lydia wants more. And then I would give her the snack. So that's what I mean by drilling, is that we're consistent with it, that in every opportunity we can use that sign appropriately, we do so that they're constantly being reminded, this is an effective way to communicate my wants and needs to my mom, to my dad, to my grandma, whoever it is that we're with. So that's just what I mean. Feel like I should clarify that. But again, I have a video linked below that will talk all about baby signs. If you're interested, you can go watch it.